For this video, we are going to be introducing the rules for the wizard character for our game, The Dungeon of the Beast.
Ta-da!
Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. In a previous video, we have walked you through the basic rules for the Dungeon of the Beast, and in this video, I want to now introduce the wizard character. We will show you some of the basic features of the wizard character, and then show you how the wizard character works in gameplay. All of the character sheets have some parts that are quite similar to each other, those parts on the top, and then each character sheet has something that is slightly unique to that character. This is the wizard character, and we have our two avatars here. We'll leave one on our character sheet so we know which character sheet we are using. Now up on top we have our proficiency level, and this is what you use to determine whether you hit in combat or with spells. Now you see with the wizard here we have 4 yellow dots and we have a translucent yellow dot here. What that means is that the wizard will be hitting on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in combat. However, spells will be successful on a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. When we go down here, you see that the wizard has no armor, but there are 2 brown dots here covering this. And that means that our wizard has a movement of 4. You can see the 4 dots here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look here, the wizard, like all the characters, begins with 6 hit points. Over here to the right, in solo play, we have a space for 12 gold, and we have a space for 1 jewel, and we also have 1 additional space where we can place the torch when we find it in each room. So if we go down to the bottom now, you see what makes this wizard unique. And there are here represented 3 different kinds of spells. You can mix and match these as you wish, but I've split them up in this direction. 3 fireballs, 3 ice blasts, and 3 crystal wall spells. So let's walk through each of these in turn. Let's begin here with the fireball spell. The fireball spell can be cast anywhere that the wizard has line of sight, and there is no maximum range on this. So anywhere in the room that you see, you can cast that fireball. What you'll do is to pick out a point in which you are aiming for, and it can be a point where there is, in fact, a monster. And you will then go ahead and roll off on your chart here, your proficiency chart. Remember, casting spells for a wizard requires a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. When you successfully are able to roll that and you hit, you will then place the fire in that place, and the fire will continue to burn for 1 full round until the wizard's next turn. If it connects with a monster, the monster is unable to make any kind of armor save, so the monster will immediately take 1 point of damage. The Ice Blast works in the same way as the Fireball. You pick out a point and you cast it if you have line of sight. And same thing, you can pick out a monster and have the point be there. What is unique about this as well, however, is that it does not last for a full round. It's a simple blast and then it is over. But what is cool about this is that you can use it to put out fire, or you can use it to put out lava, at which point when you cast it and it's successful, you would then remove the lava from the game. Any successful hit on a 1 to a 5 would, if it is hitting a monster, would be 1 point of damage. No armor saves allowed. The final spell that the wizard has is what I'm calling Wall of Crystal. I've taken one off so you can see what it looks like. Now basically this is a 1x2 crystal block that the wizard can cast to any point that the wizard has line of sight. From that point, then you're able to build up the wall in any way that you want. Once the wall is built up, it is permanent, unless, of course, the wizard decides to dispel the wall. A dispel is a free action that can occur at any point. The wizard just decides to let the spell dissolve. What is cool about this spell is that it can be used now to trap monsters or to cut off different pathways to protect the wizard. So it can have a lot of different tactical advantages. And remember, when you are in a room and you have the final monster or monsters, if they are killed or trapped, then the room is considered cleared. So with that, let's go ahead and actually look at how the wizard plays on the board. Let's say that our wizard enters the dungeon, the first room, and this is how it looks. Now, the wizard will be given the first action, and immediately I see now that it would be great for me to cast the spell of the Wall of Crystal. The spell is successfully cast on a roll of a 1 to 5. A 2 is a success. And a very strategic place to put my Wall of Crystal will be right here, cutting off the root of the monster to me, giving me a little bit more time now in order to pick up that torch. I still have my movement now, so let's run over there and pick up the torch. Remember, the wizard can move 4 spaces. So with that turn finished, we move over to the monsters. And remember, he cannot now move through this space because it has been sealed up by the crystal wall. So what he will do now is to take his movement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will put him 5 spaces and keep him there. That will be the end of his turn. At this point, we would go back to the wizard's turn, and it would probably be smart for the wizard to actually search the room now, because remember, we're trying to collect gold and other items. Well, let's say we've already searched the room, and we don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to take 1 space of movement here, and move myself down here to make sure I have a line of sight. And then I'm going to shoot off a spell, and let's use a fireball spell. Fireball spell hitting on a 1 to 5, and it's a 6, it misses! Whether I hit or not, I will lose my spell slot when I attempt a spell, so I missed with that spell, dropping me down to 2 fireball spells remaining. We go back now to the monster turn, and remember that the monsters will always use the most aggressive movement possible, so that means even if this guy gets hurt by going through the lava, he will take his movement, coming into base-to-base contact with me, and because of that, he will lose 1 life because he went through the lava. For the sake of gameplay here, we'll say that he attacks and he connects and hits me, and I take 1 point of damage. Back to my turn as the wizard. Now, I am into hand-to-hand combat here, which leaves me with a question. Do I want to attack normally with one of my weapons, which means I hit on a 1, 2, 3, 4, or do I want to use a spell slot and increase my chances of hitting by 1, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? In this case, we're still early in the game. I want to save my spells, so I'm going to just attack like normal on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 I hit. And a 2 is a hit. The orc has light armor, so he makes a save on a 1. Here we go. No, a 4 is not right, so he will take 1 point of damage, his last hit point, removing him from the game. Now, were I to be surrounded by lava, I could use a Ice Blast spell in order to take out one of these lava pieces. But now remember, when I have cast the Wall of Crystal, I can dispel it at any time for free. So now that the room is cleared, I will collect the gold from that goblin that I killed. I will dispel the Wall of Crystal, which means that I'm now able to move over here to this wall and to make a search for the door for the next room. So there you have it, folks, a quick run-through of the wizard character and the rules associated with the wizard for our game, the Dungeon of the Beast. Thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of gaming.